I'm guessing I probably don't have to tell you how important it is to help train your downline so you can have duplication, create that leveraged income, and be able to walk away from your business one day. Yet, I'm so surprised that other contact systems out there don't have a part of their system dedicated to training their team. I don't mean a training section, I mean a contact management aspect of it. And that's why we have the team page inside the system. Now you're looking at the team section inside the system. And the two main categories I want you to focus on are the bootcamp and duplicate. Bootcamp is where new team members get categorized as. And that's our terminology for whatever initial training or basic training you have your new distributors go through. Every team, every company has some type of orientation kit to get the person understanding the basics and to get them up and running in the business. So our phrase for that is taking them through the boot camp training. Now, you know how it is. Some people never get through the boot camp training or that initial training. If they don't move out of that category. But the ones that do move on to the duplicate section. Because again, when you sponsor a new downline member, you're basically starting a new funnel because you're looking for those people you sponsor who are going to step up to the plate, actually do something, start duplicating your efforts, and go out there and build a business. So as those people get through the initial training, they move into the duplicate category, and this is where you're going to work with them on a long-term basis to train them and help them out with their team. So this page works very similar to the way the contacts and the customer page works. So I'll click on this Team 1 contact, and you'll see the information on this page is almost identical to the other contact records. And the system, again, will take you through that 4-step engagement process. Because when you start training someone, you still have to figure out what medium you're going to talk to them with, where they are in the training process, which is the new area for the communication process, the next engagement, and keep notes on what you're doing. So we'll have a conversation, and the system gives me the options of continue to boot camp or continue boot camp or move to duplicate. It shows this rather than the develop, introduce, follow up, and close because they're out of that process and now they're in the new process for training. So for example's sake, we'll say move to duplicate because he's finished the basic bootcamp training we have. And then the system takes me to what are you doing for the next engagement. So we'll say schedule appointment because typically for new people, you schedule times when we're going to talk with them. So we'll just pick the next day to speak at 11:30. Save it, next step. And type it in any notes here, update contact, and now that contact is removed from the page and will reappear here again tomorrow when it's time for me to engage him. Now I'm going to scroll down here to the lower left so you can see the next 3. I mentioned this on a previous video, but I just want to point this out because it's on every page, and I did schedule my team member to speak with in the next 24 hours. So he's actually popping up in my next 3 as to who I'm going to, the next 3 people I need to call as far as a scheduled appointment. So I just want to show you that there because that carries across your contacts, customer, and team page and helps to ensure that you don't lose track of someone on your team page while you're on your contacts page. So there's 2 ways to get team members into the team page. One is using the Add Team Member button here at the very top. And this works just like the other add buttons. Put in the details, click next step. And now the system gives you a few options here on what can be done. Do you want them to be added to the newsletter for MLM Complete Package? Do you want to add them to your personal email list? Do you want our office to reach out to and help them get plugged in? These are all options you can select here. So I'm going to deselect all these since this is just an example. And now that person is in the bootcamp category because the system assumes if you're adding him, he's a brand new distributor in your team. And if he's not, just go through the process and move him to duplicate. The other way someone gets on the team page is if they're start out as a contact, and as you take them through the follow-up and the close steps, the communication process, they join your business and then you transfer them over. So we'll click on this Team 2 test. So we had a conversation. He's ready to get started. And he wants to be a distributor in my downline. Now the system asks me the same questions. I'm going to deselect all those since it's an example and click Next Step. Now I'm going to choose Set Reminder. I normally do a schedule appointment, but I'm going to do a set reminder for today's date so he stays in the system so you can see how he's transferred over. Now you'll notice the contacts page is empty. Now I go to the team section, and under the bootcamp you'll see Team-2, which is a contact I just signed up, and he moved from the contacts page to the team page. So that's it for the team member section of the contact management system. It's fairly straightforward, especially once you get used to using the contacts page because it's all built on the same philosophy and same structure. So it's very easy to learn. And I'll just leave you with this as I wrap up the video. Get in the habit of making sure you put your team members in the team section and scheduling appointments to talk with them again. Because a lot of people sponsor people, but they never go out there and actually proactively train them. Now there's different trains of thought out there on how you train a new team member. A lot of people just what we call throw them on the wall. They sponsor people, and if that person is serious about building the business, they'll call me up and let me know. I don't agree with that philosophy because if you spend all that time getting the person on board, you can spend some time with them to help them get through the initial training. Sometimes people have issues, they still have a couple concerns. Work with the person, be proactive, and help them get through the training. If we took that same philosophy of just sponsoring and throwing people on the wall and seeing who contacts us, we would have lost some good key leaders in our downline over the years.